I don't know how well this is going to work because this phone is propped up on a bunch of books. But I thought I'd show maybe how I do some of my stuff. It's going to be a pretty quick show because there's not much to see, but maybe you'll see something. Anyhow, I work on the tablet here upon occasion, mostly when I mock stuff up. And in this case, I had it in my head that maybe do the RTS CUDA because it's the in thing right now. And I've always actually kind of really had a thing for the RTS CUDA. I actually talked to Stephen Giuliano about it a long time ago, and he expressed all of his angst about that car and not being able to nail it down. And he actually did give me some stuff, like free stuff. I don't understand why, but I understood afterwards when he was dying and why he was giving stuff away. But anyway, the RTS cars, really cool. I love this car. It's going to be painful to watch it go across the Mecum auction. Somebody's going to end up with it, and I hope like hell they don't take a razor blade to it and scrape it down and redo it because it's awesome the way it is. Anyway, so what I did to start with is I drew up this really ugly quick sketch with my pen stylus. It's just a quick idea, the angle that I wanted to have the car, incorporating the weird front end and the shaker hood scoop. So from that point, I dimmed it down. Like right now, it's at 50% opacity. There's 100%. I made it like a background shade, and then I went on top of it, and I actually sketched up another version right here, which is what I did actually was I drew it right over top of the other one, and then I stretched it because I wanted it to look low and mean. You never know how they're going to turn out, but in my mind, I want this thing to look like it's aggressive, like it's jumping, snarling, going to get somebody. So I drew it low, squat, and the wheels stick out of the fenders, side pipes, and whatnot. So that was a good second drawing, and then I went to a third one after that, and this is where it's at right now. You can barely see what it is. It's not a drawing. It's just a thumbnail sketch. But I'm going to use this one to kind of work off of to see how. And this is without looking at any pictures. I just drew this from my head, right? So I'm going to decrease the opacity in this one to 50%. And then I'm just gonna bam this off in a new layer now, and you'll see how it goes. So basically what I'm doing is I'm starting off with the front, and it's parallel lines from here. The windshield post is laid back. The CUDA quarter panels have a kick up right at the back, and they're very high, and then they go back down. So it's almost like a wedge from the front to the back. And then there's a bisecting line right over the wheelhouses. So the wheelhouses are square like that. And because it's a cartoon, the belt line is actually straight on the CUDAs, but I like to drop it. It gives it kind of a goopy look. And I was thinking as I was drawing this earlier, I've probably drawn the 70 CUDA more than probably any other person on this world, because I've done literally hundreds of designs off of this one style of car, whether they be AARs or Hemi CUDAs or any number of other variants. Okay, so there's the front, and I definitely want to drop that front end down so that it's kind of sucking the ground just like the Anteater or the Aardvark from the Pink Panther cartoons. Yeah. Anyway, so I noticed that whoever designed this, actually it was Harry Bradley, now that I think about it. He also designed the Diora, one of my favorite vehicles, obviously, and a lot of other interesting vehicles and Hot Wheels. So he had a rather peculiar way of looking at things. Maybe it was because he had polio when he was a kid and it stuck in the hospital for months on end. He just kind of went into a fantasy world and never came out. But anyhow, he does or did come up with some exceptional ideas about whatever. And anybody who's smart enough to listen to him came out, with something awesome. So there's the front chin spoilers right there. And as you can see, I can erase with this thing as well. This is actually the third time I've hit this car up in like a week, because I'm never satisfied with the work that I do to begin with, and when I'm trying to come up with a new idea, I usually try to come up with a variation that's totally original, and what I've come up with is just a repeat of other things. So I'm beating myself over the head to try to come up with new ideas all the time, and this particular car is like an open book. It's a license to turn on that crazy side of things. Anyway, so here's the front. It had splits. Now the shaker hood is rather subdued on the original car, but I kind of like the Peter Williams style of shaker, especially the Hemi-Cuda ad that's drawn where the air is kind of sucked into the scoop. So I kind of like the idea of overemphasizing any kind of hood scoop on a hood like that. Okay, so then there's the deluxe mirrors, racing mirrors, and in this case they're painted. There's one on each side of the dash. Now I'll turn off this lower layer just to see what I've got. Yeah, okay. Again, this is just a quick sketch, but I'm rather interested in seeing what it looks like in color. We'll get to the point where I'll colorize it and whatnot. I'd like to say that every one of my designs comes up like this, this is how I do it. I'd say about 50%, 50% of my drawings are done off of this kind of thing. And oftentimes I'll like do different layers, until I get it worked up. I mean, it takes a long time to get stuff done. And, it's that sort of thing where I don't know, anybody can do anything right off the top of their head and have it perfect every time. I'm definitely not like that. It takes a lot of time to work stuff up. And unfortunately, that's sometimes reflected in the price of things. But, I think if somebody wants something bad enough, they'll pay the price. That's just basically how it goes. And that's supply and demand, right? So, yeah. So I'm going to do another layer here, and I'm going to fill it with color. Bing, bing, and hey, what the heck? I may as well throw some orange in there. Oops, sorry. There, whoa, can't do that. What I meant to do was this. Oh, you're doing it again. See? Nobody is perfect. There we go. Okay. All right. Are we on that layer? Yes. Are we on paintbrush? Yes. Thank you. I'll increase the size of that. There we go. Draw the lines. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, I'll take that. This tablet is the best idea ever. Um, I know I actually have friends who are artists that work on paper still, and you know, I did that for 40 years. Um, and what I would do is, honest to goodness, I would draw something and have a light box underneath it, and trace it through successive generations over and over and over. And you know, when you're pricing something up for somebody, and you got to redraw it 10 times, uh, they often say, well, gee, why is it so expensive? Because I had to do it 10 times. Well, this sort of solves that problem quite nicely, because you can do 10 generations in one drawing, and you can save each successive generation right here just to see where you're at. And if you don't like it, too easy. You can move on, right? Um, it's actually pretty nifty. It costs a lot of money. Took me 5 years to get to a point where I could actually get one of these things after I started drawing it full time. So, you know, I appreciate it. That's for sure. A lot of people work with Adobe Photoshop, and a lot of people work with Illustrator, and other people with other programs. I'm a Photoshop guy. That's all I can say. I like Photoshop, and sure, you can modify photographs, but to me, it's all about drawing. And um, you know, if you can do this on a drawing, it just makes life so much better. It's better because of this. Anyhow, that's just a quick rough in. Oh yeah, I need the side pipes. That's ugly, but it's an idea, and it's not a finished product. It's a conceptual um, take on something that I just wanted to get out of my head. Really, is all it was. Now, what I would do with this particular layer, I'm gonna merge it down. I think I'll probably do that with a mouse. Move, merge down. Okay. Um, so what I can do at this point is I can edit, transform, warp. I can warp the crap out of it, as you can see here. And if I like what I see, I'll use the warp. And if I don't, like if I make it stick up like that, which it almost does in real life, or I can put it down here like it's menacing. Raise the ass in the air. Oh yeah, leaching flirting for. Oh, I like that. That's good. I like that. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Right on. Yeah. That to me is better. Okay. So it's not done by any stretch of the imagination. But what it is, it's just something to do. Thanks a lot.